Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first NBC Game of the Week 1973 Strat-O-Matic Super Advanced Style. We are from Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati, where today it is the San Francisco Giants against the Cincinnati Reds. Now, today's game is going to be a little less pomp and circumstance because I have a family commitment on Saturday the 6th. So this is being recorded on Friday the 5th and uploaded for Saturday the 6th. So not able to do as much pomp and circumstance as I might normally like, but we're going to try to get through this anyway. All right, starting pitchers for today's game. For the Cincinnati Reds, it'll be right-hander Jack Billingham, 19-10 with a 3.04 ERA. For the Giants, it'll be Jim Willoughby, 4-5 with a 4.68 ERA. They were not the opening day starters, but they were the starters for this particular game, April the 6th. Actually, I think it was April the 5th in real life, but April 6th on our Saturday 2024 schedule. All right, so first couple things we need to do in Super Advanced. First things first, we're going to do the weather effects. And I had a choice between doing the weather effects or just a straight out ballpark effects. I decided to go with the weather. So we are in an April day game in Cincinnati. And April day games 1 to 8 will be good weather. 9 to 15 is average. 16 to 20 is bad. We get a 12, so that is right there at the average. So average in Cincinnati, singles are 1 to 7 for lefties, only 1 to 1 for righties. And home runs are 2 and 2. So Cincinnati in 1973, not exactly a ballpark that gives up a lot of home runs as much as I thought they were historically, but Strat-O-Matic in 73 says they are not. So in average weather, we've got lefties on singles. Lefties are a 7, righties are a 1. And on home runs, both instances you need a 1 or a 2. All right, that takes care of the weather effects. Now we go to the pitcher-catcher hold combinations for both teams. First, for the Reds, Jim Willoughby is a +2, but then we have the catcher arm of Johnny Bench, who's a -4, so aggregate is a -2. Jim Willoughby is a +4. Dave Rader is a +2 for aggregate of 6. Well, 5 is the highest you can have, so it's a +5. So that means the Reds base runners may be having a field day on the Giants stealing bases. All right, we got our Cincinnati red colored dice. I've got the rule book right here, or the textbook, if you want to call it that. I also pulled out, for this occasion, the cardboard version of the Super Advanced fielding charts. Nice and sturdy. Got them standing up against the standees over here out off camera, so I'll be able to read those without having to do too much flipping. And of course, putting those on there messed up the focus. That's why I don't want to do that very often. So I will not be showing charts on camera. I will just be reading them off to you as they come up. And you see the starting lineups for both teams, the bench players and the bullpens. I have all the players because I printed out a couple of guys that were missing from the computer, so I do have the computerized cards for those players if necessary. No one in the starting lineup is missing. They're all regular carded players, but some of the bullpen and bench players are computerized. So Jack Billingham finishing up the warm-up tosses, and he'll be facing Mr. 30-30 himself, Bobby Bonds. And we're going to go ahead and get this game underway. Opening day, 1973 Strat-O-Matic Super Advanced. Doing one more check here. Focus is not what I wanted here, but I guess it's the best I can do. So we'll go with it. Bobby Bonds steps in against Mr. Billingham. And the season is underway on the Saturday game of the week for 1973. 4-9 against a right-hander. That's a split chance. 1 to 2 is a single, but that's an 8. So it'll be a ground ball to third. So Bonds grounds to Minky, and that is out number 1. Dennis Minky over to Perez, and that takes care of Mr. Bonds. That'll bring up Tito Fuentes, second baseman. Billingham, 2-8 this time off Fuentes, is a ground ball back to Billingham for an easy play. 2 up and 2 down. And it could be a long day for the Giants, but in actuality, the Giants won this game in real world 7-5. So don't give up hope yet. Here's Chris Spire, shortstop. 6-10 for Billingham. That's a ground ball third base X. That is Mr. Menke. Menke is a 2E18. 2E18. 2 and a 6. 2 and a 6 is a G2, which is good enough. It's technically a G2 pound, but nobody's on base to be held, or in the infield's not in, so that's a good play. Total of 9 there, and he is an E18 for a third baseman. There is no 9, so it's a good play for Dennis Menke as he takes care of Spire, gets 2 assists in the inning, and at the end of half inning of play here at Riverfront Stadium, it is the Giants nothing, and the Reds coming to bat. And they'll be facing Jim Willoughby, who will later go on to be with the Boston Red Sox as a relief pitcher. But here today, he is the opening day starter for, not the opening day starter, the Saturday starter for the Giants. And Charlie Hustle, Pete Rose will lead things off for the Reds against Willoughby. We get a 3-6 for Pete, and he's going to ground to second, 1 away. So 1 down as Rose is retired, and now here comes Joe Morgan. Now the speed guys are coming up, Morgan and Tolan. Both of those can run very well. Willoughby needs to keep them off the bases. 2-2, and that is a fly out to right field for out number 2. One of those rare fly ball A's where the runners will advance no matter where they are. Don't see that happen very often, but Morgan got that particular result on his 2-2 section. Here's Bobby Tolan. 1-6 for Tolan. That's a 1-3 double. 4-20 is a fly to center. That's a 20. So he flies out to Bonds in center field. And both teams go quietly here in the first. We go to the second. No score from Riverfront. Or as someone once says, by the stadium in front of the river. All right, Billingham back out, and he'll be facing stretch Willie McCovey. To lead things off, it'll be McCovey, Goodson, and Maddox. Not a lot of household names on this Giant team. 1-3 for stretch is a ground ball to short, so handled there by Concepcion. And 4 ground ball outs. Billingham has induced 4 ground ball outs. The Giants have yet to get the ball in the air. And here's Ed Goodson. 6-8 against a left-hander. That is a ground ball to first. So Perez will take it to the bag himself. And that is 5 consecutive ground outs. That'll bring up Gary Maddox. Of course, had his better years with the Phillies, but he is a young center fielder for the Giants. Obviously, he has a 3 here. And when he's in his heyday, he had a lot of years as a 1-rated center fielder, so rare to see him as a 3. 1-8, and that is a ground ball to short, and yet another ground ball. So 6 ground ball outs recorded by Billingham to start the game, as the Giants can't get the ball out of the infield, and the Reds outfielders just taking a nap out there, basically. Nothing's happening. We go to the bottom of the second. Still no score. And due up for the Reds will be Mr. Johnny Bench. Probably Mr. Red, I would say, of all time of their franchise. I think Johnny Bench is the all-time greatest Cincinnati Red player. Played his whole career there, and to me, he is the definition of the Cincinnati Reds. 1-9, but he strikes out in this time, so maybe not too well defined in this at-bat, but that's just one at-bat. We got a long way to go. Here's Tony Perez. We got a 6-5 against Willoughby, and that's a fly to center, so another out 2 down, but at least the Reds are putting the ball in the outfield, but not a whole lot happening offensively so far. Maybe both teams get a little rusty to start the season. Here's Geronimo. 3-5. As soon as I say that, here comes Geronimo. 3-5, a 1-4 is a triple. That's a 20, which means he will get a 2-out single for Cesar Geronimo. And the Reds finally have a base runner. And with that +5 pitcher-catcher hold rating for the Giants, you know they're tempted to steal, especially with 2 outs. Get a runner in scoring position would be huge. So Geronimo, to get the jump, he needs a 2 through 7 or a 12. However, a 9 or an 11 would be an automatic caught stealing. But we're going to try for that jump anyway. Rolling the D20 just to check for possible pickoff or balk as well. We got a 1. It's a possible pickoff. Possible pickoff. Well, it doesn't matter. He rolled a 9, so he's out. It's caught stealing. He is caught stealing right there. Right there, he is caught stealing, and we could drill it down to a pickoff because his secondary rate's a 7. So let's see if we get something that falls in that rate. We do not, so he is picked off. So I'm not sure exactly how you score that when he is caught stealing and picked off at the same time. So I'm going to call it a pickoff just for the heck of it. We're going to say Willoughby picked him off to end the inning. So nothing doing there as Geronimo tempted fate, and the dice were not in his favor as he got the double whammy of the automatic caught stealing and or the pickoff. And we go to the third, no score from Riverfront. Billingham will now be dealing with Thomason, Rader, and Willoughby, the bottom portion of the order, bottom third of the order, to start the third inning. Sorry about that little shake there. Kind of bumped into the table. Didn't mean to do that. All right, so we're going to give this a go for the top of the third. Gary Thomason started off against Billingham. We get a 2-7, and that's all these hits in column 2, and he found a fly to center. But at least they got the ball in the outfield. First time they got the ball in the outfield. So at least they're making progress. Here's Dave Rader, catcher. 2-9 for Rader. He's going to fly to right, so at least they're getting some outfield outs. Not that there's much consolation to that, but I guess it beats grounding out all the time. Willoughby now is using pitcher hitting card number 6. Pretty good hitter for Mr. Willoughby. So he's using number 6. That's the number. If you look at his card, he is a 6, number 6 NR. So normal power home run, and he's using number 6 on his card. So see what he can do here. And of course, we go to Billingham, so it doesn't matter. 5-5, but look at this. 1-6 is an in-home run. That's a 3. It is gone. Jim Willoughby decides to break the ice all on his own. He hits a homer, and that's going to give the Giants a 1-0 lead because Willoughby does have normal power. That's 6 NR, means he's got normal power. Jim Willoughby, I don't know how many home runs he hit in real life, but he just got one right here off of the card of Billingham. And that puts the Giants ahead 1-0. And this Riverfront Stadium crowd is a little bit stunned. Here's Bonds. 2-2 for Bonds. He's going to fly to center. And that's going to end the inning. But the Giants, with the pitcher, Jim Willoughby, hitting a solo home run, helping his own cause, and we go to the bottom of the third, 1-0 G-Men. Billingham definitely chagrined about that. Billingham's got to be feeling pretty good about himself. He's going to be facing the bottom third of the Reds order, Concepcion, Menke, and Billingham. 4-11, and that is a fly ball left field X. Left fielder is Thomason. He's a 3, but he's an E18. So the chances of him getting to it are pretty good, but there might be an error on the E18, so we'll see. 3-19, he definitely gets to that as an F3, but he is an E18. As a left fielder, E18, he's got to avoid 3, 4, 6, 11, 12, 18, and 17. That's a 10. He did avoid them all. So Thomason makes the nice play. Thomason had a little trouble with it, but stuck with it and made the play. Here's Dennis Menke. 3-6 for Menke, and he strikes out. Second strikeout for Willoughby. And that'll bring up Billingham, who's a pitcher hitting card number 1, and he does have weak power. 1-7, and that's a strikeout to end the inning. So 3 up and 3 down go the Reds here in the bottom of the third. We've played the first 3 innings of this ball game, and the Giants lead at 1-0. And Jim Willoughby has been the star both on the mound and at the plate. But there are 6 innings to go. So here's Tito Fuentes. He's going to lead it off. He grounded back to Billingham his first chance. 3-7, and he's going to strike out this time. That's actually the first strikeout for Billingham in the ball game. 1 away, and here comes Chris Spire. And he knows this is not any kind of a tutorial. I'm just playing the game. So there will be other tutorial videos. Strat-O-Matic University will be back next week with some more tutorial information on more classes, I should say, on base running of different varieties. Spire now, 6-4 against Billingham. Ground ball shortstop X, that is Mr. Concepcion, who's consistently is a decent fielder. In 1973, he is a 2E23. 2 and a 1, though. That's going to get through for a base hit. That's a 9. E23 and a 9. There is no 9, but it is going to be a base hit for Chris Spire. Leadoff single, or 1-out single, rather, for Chris Spire. He is aboard. Now, to get a jump, he needs a 4 or a 6. He could get caught with a 10, but even getting the jump, he'd have a 13, and then he'd have the -2 combination pitcher and catcher, which is an 11, and then 2 for being held drops him to a 9. So he's not going to go anywhere. He's not going to go anywhere. They will hold him on. I'm trying to be realistic. They're baseball, you're pretty much holding everybody but the pitcher and maybe a slow running catcher. So they will hold him on, which means with the McCovey coming up, that the shortstop Concepcion is also responsible for holding him. And now we finally get some havoc rolls going on here. Nothing going on there. Infield is double play depth. 4-6 against a left-hander is a fly to center. That's out number 2. 2 down, and that's going to flip it over to Ed Goodson. He grounded to Perez his first time up. Nothing on the D20. 2-6 for Goodson, and that's trouble. Remember, he is being held at first. So, and you're holding him on not just for steals, but for base running too, which is why he's being held on. So a 2-6, a 13 is going to be a double, but it's 2 stars. So it doesn't matter about the hold on or not because it's 2 stars. And that means the runner on first, even with 2 outs, cannot score. But it is a double for Goodson. Puts runners at second and third with 2 outs for Gary Maddox. And Billingham in a little bit of trouble. First base is open, but you got a more dangerous hitter in Thomason on deck, so better to go after Maddox. Nothing on the D20. Billingham, 2-7. Maddox, 2-7 is going to fly to center. That's a big question mark. If there were less than 2 outs, there'd be a chance for a sacrifice fly, but that was the 3rd out. So it's going to end the inning, and the Giants will leave 2 on base. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left. We go to the bottom of the 4th still. 1-0. Favor the Giants, but leaving those 2 runners in scoring position could come back to bite them. And I forgot to mention it, but that actually was a clutch situation, but we didn't get the clutch results, so nothing came of it. Jim Willoughby back out. Starting at the top of the order, Pete Rose. 2-8 for Rose, and that's a leadoff single for Pistol Pete. So Pete Rose is aboard. Not really much of he's a good runner, but not much of a threat. He stole 10 bases, got caught 7 times. Their only other base runner, Geronimo, got picked off. And you got Morgan, Tolan, and Bench coming up. So Rose is going to stay put. They will hold him on, but he will not try to get a jump. But they will hold him on. Which means with Morgan up, the shortstop Spire is doing the holding along with the first baseman. Nothing on the 20. Infield halfway for Joe Morgan. 4-11, and that's a fly ball left field X. So back to Thomason again. We've already seen he is a 3 E18. So 3 E18 for Thomason. And we'll see what he can do with that. A 3 E18. 3-20, he's going to get to that, no problem. That's a 14, E18, and a 14. And there is a 2-base error. I will go ahead and show it, and I'll just adjust the focus if I have to. E18 and a 14. I've got the cardboard version here, but I got the old paper version here. It's easier to show. 14, and that's what we have here. 14, that's a 2-base error. So Thomason, a 2-base error, and that's going to put runners at second and third with only 1 out. Huge error for Thomason, a 2-base error for Thomason. E7. And now, what do you do if you're the Giants are going to have to bring the infield in? I don't think there's much choice. Although with nobody out, they may hold them back because you don't want to give up. You like to only give up 1 run, not 2. So they're not really worried about the run on third. They want to keep Morgan close. So they are holding Morgan on to keep him close. The infield is back. They need outs. Willoughby could actually use a strikeout. That's a 2. Chance for a balk or a pass ball. We get a 5, so it's chance of a pass ball. Pass ball rating for Raider, though, is a 0, so he cannot do a pass ball. So we skip that and go straight to the at-bat. Willoughby, 3-7 for Tolan's ground ball pitcher B. And with the infield in, we go to our super advanced base running chart, which in the textbook can be found on page 17. Page 17, we get a B, ground ball B, with runners at second and third with the infield back. Infield is back. Second and third, ground ball B is a number 5. Number 5 says if hit to second or short, batter out, runners advance. Otherwise, batter out, runners hold. Well, the ball was hit to the pitcher. So, with that being the case, runners have to hold. So just a ground ball back to Willoughby. Checks the runners. Throws to first, and that's out number 1. Johnny Bench, the batter now. Again, putting all these charts on there, I'm sure messed the focus up, so let me fix that. I said I wasn't going to put charts in there, so I need to stick to that. So we'll just have to trust what I put out there, I guess, because putting those charts out in front of the phone just kills the focus for some reason. So not going to go through that. Now with 1 out, they might bring the infield in this time. What do they want to do? Well, actually, you know what? They are going to bring the infield in. They are bringing the infield in, so by default, you can't hold the runner with the infield in. We're not holding the runners. Strategy roll there, nothing happening. So infield is in. We'll try to choke the run off for sure. Get a 4-10, and that is a fly. That is a ballpark single check. It would have been a fly ball C, but it's a check here. 4-10 is a ballpark single check. For a right-hander, you have to have a 1. That's a 6. So it is not a 1. It is not a 1. So therefore, it's a fly ball to left for out number 2. But it is a C. So a fly ball C on the super advanced. Let's see here how that works. Usually on the ballpark things, it's a line out to short, but I also like the to use the the result is there. So fly ball C, nobody advances no matter what brand of strat you're playing. The runners hold. So really, in this case, it didn't make much of a difference whether it's a liner to short or a fly to left. That is out number 2. And Tony Perez is your batter. Interesting dilemma here. Perez is a very good hitter. First base is open. Geronimo is on deck. He has the only hit of the game, but he's a much inferior hitter. So they're playing the percentages. They're going to issue a free pass to Tony Perez, and they'll take their chances with Cesar Geronimo. Although, like I said, he did get a hit his first time up, only to be picked off, but still, they feel like easier to get Geronimo than it is Perez. Even though it's a righty-lefty, they're still going to do it. Infield's back. Nobody's being held on. Nothing happening there. So Willoughby to Geronimo. 2-6, and the strategy pays off. He pops it up to second base. Fuentes is there, and the Reds will leave him loaded. No runs, a hit, 1 error, and 3 left. So talk about the Giants leaving 2 on in the top of the inning. The Reds leave them loaded here in the bottom of the inning. And after 4 complete, we've still got a 1-0 Giants lead. Wow, Reds fans have to be disappointed immensely. Not only do they not tie the game, they don't even score. So we go to the 5th, still 1-0. Favor of the G-Men. And it will be Gary Thomason who made the 2-base error last inning. Going to see if he can't make up for it. Offensively, he flew to center his first chance. 6-11. That's a ground ball to first. Easy play for Perez. 1 down. And I'm not doing injuries in this league or in this game of the week. So no, I'm not checking any injuries. For pitchers, I should say. Now, if an injury comes up on the pitcher on the hitter card, that's a different story. But I'm not going to do those super advanced pitcher error or pitcher injury checks. 210 Raider 210. He flies to left. That's 2 down. And that's going to bring up Willoughby. He's responsible for the only run of the game with the home run that he hit off of Billingham's card. He hit that 2-5 result and got a good D20 result. Or a 5-5 result, not 2-5. This is a 3-10, which means he strikes out. So 3 up and 3 down go the Giants here in the 5th. We go to the bottom of the 5th, still 1-0 in favor of the G-Men. Now, I haven't played an older season in a while, so I got to make sure I don't jump the gun and replacing these pitchers like I did in modern seasons, where after 5 innings they're tired. Willoughby can go 6, Billingham can go 8. So I have to get used to that again. Concepcion, Minky, and Billingham do up. We get a 2-6, and that's a straight-out single for Concepcion right off the bat. And he is definitely looking to run, or at least get the jump. To get the jump, he needs a 2 through 5, an 11, or 12. And that's an 8, so he does not get the jump. But he still might have a chance, because without the jump, that's a 14. Being held as a 4, minus 4 is a 10. But then you got the plus 5, makes it a 15. So even without the jump, they're going to send him. It's a 1 to 15 to send Concepcion. And he's caught stealing. So they try to get greedy without the jump, and it cost them. Concepcion is out of there. Fuentes puts on the tag. Raider threw a BB down to first base and says, don't try that without the jump. And Sparky not too happy. Here's Dennis Menke. 111 from Menke. He pops it up to McCovey, and that's 2 down. So it would look promising for the Reds to start the inning. Now looks rather bleak And that'll bring up the pitcher. Jack Billingham struck out his first chance. 6-8, not this time against the pitcher card. It's a 1-4 triple. That is a 4. So Jack Billingham, of all people, gets a triple. A triple for Billingham, a 2-out triple. So both pitchers have the only extra base hits of the game. I'm sorry, Goodson had a double, but 2 out of 3 extra base hits belong to the pitchers. Go figure. But they've both been off the pitcher's card, not on their own batting cards. So 2 outs, and that brings up Pete Rose. Willoughby has to recover from that shock of giving up a triple to his opposing pitcher. And we'll see what Willoughby does. 1-4 for Rose as a ground ball to second. That's going to end the inning. And again, the Reds leave a runner on first. And boy, how big was that caught stealing by Concepcion? That cost them a run. They got 2 hits. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 1 left. We go to the 6th inning. It is still 1-0 in favor of the Giants. And I'm going to take a quick pause, and we'll be back with the 6th inning. All right, top of the order. For the Giants, it'll be Bobby Bonds. He is grounded to third and flew to center, 0 for 2. Against Billingham, 4-5. Against a right-hander, that's a fly to center. Geronimo will put that away, and the 6th inning begins very meekly for the G-men. Brings up Tito Fuentes. Tito, 0 for 2 with a strikeout. 4-6, switch hitter batting left. 4-6 is another fly to center. Geronimo handles that one as well. 2 up and 2 down. And that'll bring up the shortstop, Chris Spire. Next week's ball game, by the way, will be at Yankee Stadium. It'll be the Red Sox and the Yankees, and that should be a live broadcast at noon Eastern next Saturday the 13th, which happens to be my birthday. 4-6, Billingham against Spire. Struck him out, and that's going to end the inning. 3 up and 3 down. And we go to the bottom of the 6th. Pitcher's duel has broken out here at Riverfront. Now, this is Willoughby's fatigue inning, as he has a 6 there, so keep an eye on that. Heart of the order coming up, numbers 2, 3, and 4 to be Morgan, Tolan, and Bench. Morgan reached on the 2-base error by Thomas in his last time up. 5-6 against a left-hander is a ground ball to second. Easy play there for Fuentes, 1 away. Just missed that double. 5-7 would have been a double, or at least a single. Here's Tolan. Tolan is 0 for 2. 4-6 against a left-hander. That's a fly to center. Bonds puts it away easily. 2 down. Actually, not Bonds. That would have been Maddox, my bad. Bonds is in right field, not center field. So used to him in center. Here's Johnny Bench. He's 0 for 2. 4-4, and that's a catcher X. Catcher X Raider as a catcher is a 3-E-2. 3 and a 10. That's a leaner, so we'll just knock that down and make that number there and not worry about it. All right, so catcher, 2 and a 10, or is it a 3 and a 10? 3 and a 10. 3 and a 10. P/F, but nobody's on base, so there can't be any pass balls or anything. That is a total of 11, and he is an E2. There is no 11, so we go to P/F with no error. P/F with no error and no pass ball. Says the batter hits a foul out. So it's just a foul out. Bench fouls out to his counterpart, Mr. Raider, to end the inning. So it's another 1-2-3 inning for Willoughby. And at the end of 6, it is still 1-0 Giants. Only run of the game is a home run by the pitcher Willoughby. He's, of course, not fatigued because he got nothing against him in his fatigue inning, so he's still good to go. And Billingham can go 8 innings before he is fatigued. That'll bring up McCovey. He's 0 for 2 to start the 7th inning. 6-5 for a left-hander is a ground ball shortstop X. That is Concepcion. Concepcion is a 2 E23. 2 and a 9 should be good all day long. 2 and a 9 is a G2, which is no problem. And that's a 15, and he's an E23. 15 is good all day long as well. The errors are 13, 17, and 18, along with the 3. So Concepcion got a little tough hop on the seam of the carpet and took care of it. 1 away for Ed Goodson. He doubled his last time up. 4-7, and that's a walk. So this time Billingham will issue the free pass to Ed Goodson. 1 out walk. Goodson will not, he's terrible. He's not going to be held with bench. They're going to dare him to steal. They'll give him the jump. He can have the jump of 3 all he wants, but there's no reason to hold him there. So even for base running purposes, he only runs at an 11, so he will not be held on. And Maddox is your batter with 1 out. Nothing happened on the Havoc roll. Billingham, 6-6, right-handed. Oh, that's trouble. 1 to 9 is a double. 10 to 20 is a single. That's a 20. It's a single, 2 stars. So all of a sudden, runners are at the corners as Goodson gets over to third base. But Billingham is in trouble. And now Sparky has the bullpen active as they have left-hander Tom Hall and right-hander Pedro Borbon. Double barrel action in their bullpen for the Reds as they can't afford to give up any more runs the way their offense has been anemic to this point. Gary Thomason is your batter. 1 out, runners at the corners. Maddox, a very good base runner. He's not going to try to steal, but he will be held. They're definitely going to have to hold him on. Now the question is, do the Reds play for the double play? Morgan's going to be responsible for holding along with Perez. Do they play in or do they play for the double play? They're going to play back for the double play. 2 is a possible balk or pass ball. It is a possible pass ball on bench. His pass ball rating is a 3. That's a 4, so he's just able to block it. So no pass ball. So we drive on. We get a 1-5 for Thomason, and that's a strikeout, a huge strikeout for Billingham for out number 2. And now the infield can go back to normal. They're still holding Maddox on. And here is Rader. Dave Rader. Now first base, well, they're not going to hold Maddox on, because if they want Maddox to steal, that'll open up first base for Rader, and they pitch to the pitcher Willoughby. So the Giants are not holding. They're not holding Maddox on, and Maddox is not going to take second because they don't want to take the bat out of Rader's hands. So Rader will stand up to the plate. Nothing happening. Billingham to Rader. 2-3 to Rader, and he gets a ground ball first base C. So Perez fields it, flips to Billingham, and the inning is over. So for the Giants, no runs, a hit, no errors, and 2 left. We go to the 7th inning stretch here at Riverfront with the score 1-0 Giants. That is still holding up since the 3rd inning. And Billingham gets out of the mess. Willoughby, of course, has nothing against this point of weakness to this point. So he's still going strong. He is set to lead off the next inning, but, I mean, he's responsible for the only run of the game, so it almost seems kind of counterintuitive to hit for him, but common sense says you have to, because 9 times out of 10 he's going to not do what he just did in his first time up. So 7th inning stretch time. I'm going to take a quick stretch with them. You can sing your Take Me Out to the Ball games. There will be no music, no ukuleles, no nothing, no singing from my end, just simply stretching. More stretching than singing, which is a good thing for me, and definitely a good thing for you, because that's not something you'd want to hear. All right, quick stretch. That didn't take long. I did a Willie McCovey stretch. Not that long. All right, here's Tony Perez. Flew to center and was intentionally walked. Willoughby, 5-8. Ground ball second base X. Ground ball second base X is Fuentes. Fuentes is a 2E6, a very good fielder. 2 and a 16. He'll get to that all day long. It's a G1. That's a 14. He's an E6 at second base. There is no 14. There's a 3, 16, and 18. So good play for Fuentes. Takes care of Mr. Perez. So Willoughby just getting it done. Big time. Geronimo steps to the plate. He's singled and popped to second. 5-9, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. Now we're at Chris Spire. Spire is a 2E36. 2 and a 3 is going to be a good play. It's a G3 pound, but nobody's on base to be held, and the infield's not in, so he's going to get to it. Barely, but can he make the play? He's an E36. That is a 12. E36 and a 12 is a good play. Errors on 36 are 13, 15, 17, and 18. I'm sorry, 13, 15, 16, and 17. But that number there, that 12 is good all day long. So tough play for Chris Spire, but he hangs on and makes the play for out number 2 and gets the speedy Geronimo. So 2 down for Concepcion. Concepcion is 1 for 2. Singled and caught stealing last time. 111, and that's a possible ballpark home run, but not very good. The home run chances are 1 to 2. That's a 7, so it's merely a fly to left. That's going to end the inning. 3 up and 3 down. And Willoughby has pitched 7 shutout innings, and he's responsible for the only run of the game, so go figure. We go to the 8th. It's still 1-0 Giants. This is Billingham's fatigue inning. He is set to bat second next inning, so they'd like to get him through the inning if possible. You're not taking Willoughby out the way he's pitching, so Willoughby will lead it off against Billingham. 5-6. And look at this. It's a 1-2 triple, 14. That's a single for Willoughby, so he's now 2 for 3. He's found that column 5 in Billingham's card to his liking, and he is 2 for 3 in this game. Unbelievable. He's not going to be held on, obviously, as a pitcher, so they will not hold him on. Here's Bonds, and again, Bourbon loosening with fervor in the pen. So is the lefty Hall, because Hall would be coming in for McCovey, but if they need a right-hander before that, they've got Bourbon ready, so we'll see. Strategy roll. 2 possible balk or pass ball. It's possible pass ball, and again, bench's rating is a 3. That's a 15, so he blocks it. Billingham to Bonds. 5-5. That's that bad number again. 5-5. A 1-6 is a home run. That's a 12, which is a double. It is a double, and with nobody out, Willoughby will just go to third. He's not going to be aggressive on the bases as a pitcher, but it's a double. And that puts runners at second and third with nobody out. And, of course, the infield will now have to come in for the Reds. And now Sparky makes his way out to the mound. And you got to wonder which direction he's going in. He's got Bourbon ready. He's got Hall ready. They're going with Bourbon. So Billingham will be lifted. Now the question is there going to be a double switch? I believe there is going to be a double switch because they want Bourbon to be able to pitch more than just the 1 inning. So let's see. The last out was made by Concepcion. See if they bring in another shortstop, Darrell Cheney, which they might. Although Cheney is a terrible hitter. You know what? They're not going to be a double switch. They just want Bourbon to get him out of the inning. That's all they want. Then they can pinch it for him and bring somebody else in, but they really need him to get out of the inning. So Bourbon it is. There will not be a double switch. That was called off. Now, Bourbon's hold rating is a 0, and bench is a -4, so the hold rating for the pitcher-catcher combination just got better. Went from -2 to -4, although it's not helping the Reds at the moment. So Pedro Bourbon is in the game. Infield has to come in. I mean, they have no choice. You're already down 1-0. You can't give up more. So the infield is in. Will it be a slow runner at third? That's the only thing that might help them a little bit. Nothing on the havoc roll. So Bourbon to Fuentes. The infield in. Get a 5-10 switch hitter batting left-handed. That is a ballpark single check. That's a 6. And for a left-handed hitter, switch hitter, a 7 is the base hit. So it will be a single for Tito Fuentes as a switch hitter batting left-handed. He will get that single check. And that will be a single for Mr. Fuentes. And that'll give the Giants a 2-0 lead as the single 1 star, meaning that the runner at second, Bonds, even though he's fast, he has to hold at third base. That run is charged to Billingham. It is now 2-0 Giants. Still nobody out. Fuentes will have to be held. Spire the batter. Infield will continue to play in. I mean, they can't afford to give up any more runs if they can avoid it. Even turning a double play, giving up a run, will put them down 3-0, which is not a good prospect. So they're kind of in desperate measure right now. Bourbon really needs a strikeout. 5-9, and he got it. Bourbon gets the strikeout. That was huge. Now a double play would get him out of the inning. McCovey is your batter. McCovey is the batter. They've got the lefty Hall, but Hall is not necessarily all that great. Pretty decent at lefties, though. So Bourbon's going to be lifted, and they will bring in Tom T. Hall as the new pitcher. And his job is to get out of the inning. Bourbon is going to go a third of an inning, give up a hit. Does have a strikeout. And now Hall is on to try to get out of the jam, facing the lefty Willie McCovey. He is a double play candidate. They are playing back for the double play. Nothing on the havoc. So lefty against lefty, Hall versus McCovey. 6-9, and boy, bad timing there. 6-9 is an in-home run, 1-15. That's a 14. It is long and it is gone. So Tom T. Hall comes in and gives up a 3-run bomb to Stretch. And Sparky made the wrong move there. Terrible move by Sparky. And if you're a devil's advocate person, a 6-9 for Bourbon would have been a ground ball shortstop X, which might have been a double play. Who knows? But second guessers can take Sparky to the woodshed because that's a 3-run bomb, and it is now 5-0. Favor the Giants. And the Riverfront Stadium crowd is groaning. Here's Goodson. Now Hall is trying to get out of the inning. 6-8. And that's a 1-3 double, which is a 3. So how about that? He couldn't even get out of that. Things are just not going well for the Reds, as Goodson just hit his second double of the game. Of course, he will not be held as a bad base runner, but it's just going from bad to worse for the Reds here in the 8th inning. 3-4, Maddox against the left-hander is a ballpark single check. That's a 14, which is a fly to left, and that is out number 2. Again, I don't do the line out to short, line out to second unless the ballpark check actually has single written here. I keep the original if there's an out there. That's just my own home thing I do. I know it's not in the rule book probably, but it's just the way I like to play it. So here's Thomason. Hall again with the lefty-lefty matchup to get out of the inning. 1-8, and that's a ground ball back to Hall to end the inning. But the damage definitely done. 4 runs come into play on 5 base hits for the Giants. They do leave 1 on base. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It is San Francisco 5 and the Reds nothing. Riverfront Stadium hopefuls are not very hopeful right now. That's all for Hall. He will be gone. They will bring on a pinch hitter and a new pitcher in the 9th. Willoughby, still nothing against his fatigue, so he's still going strong. He'll be facing Menke and then a pinch hitter for Hall. And let's see who's picking up a bat for the Reds. Most likely a lefty would be doing that. And for the Reds, it's going to be, looks like it's going to be Gene Locklear. They don't really have a whole lot on the bench at all, I'm telling you. The only guy that has a decent average is Gagliano, but he's a righty, so I'm playing percentages. And Locklear will be the new pinch hitter. No activity at all in the Giant bullpen. They are giving this one to Willoughby until he chokes out. So they're going to stick with him. Here's Menke. 5-6, and he struck him out. He's not tired. There's a dot there, but he's not tired. So the strikeout is good. Menke is retired. And that'll bring up Gene Locklear, the pinch hitter for the Reds. Gene Locklear. Willoughby to Locklear, 3-11, and that's a ground ball first base C. McCovey will take it. Flip to Willoughby. 3-1 if you're scoring at home, and why wouldn't you be? There's 2 away, and that brings up Pete Rose. And talk about somebody who's frustrated. You can bet Pete is frustrated. Willoughby, 3-2 to Rose, hit by pitch plus injury. So let's see if Rose has to leave the game or not. Let's check the injury chart and see if he has to leave the ball game. So the super advanced injury chart for batters is right here. 5, Rose is going to remain in the game. He says, I'm too tough to get out of the game. You can't get me out of the game. I'm going to stay in there. So trainer wanted him to come out, but Rose says no way. And Sparky tries to talk to him, but Rose says no way. I'm staying in the game. You can go take your medical analysis and stick it. So Rose staying in the game with 2 outs. He will not be held with a 5-0 lead. So with Rose not being held, he will take second base for defensive indifference. That's just the way Pete is. Kind of payback for getting hit. So he takes second base on defensive indifference. And Morgan is your batter. So basic, they could score a run finally. 3-3, but they don't. It's a ground ball second base A. And that's going to end the inning. They weren't holding Pete on, obviously, with a 5-0 lead. They're not worried about it. So they didn't hold him at first. They're certainly not going to hold him on second. So, okay, sorry about that. Got interrupted. But we finished off the last at bat. Joe Morgan on the 3-3. Ground ball second, but nobody's being held because Rose was at second but not being held. So infield wasn't in, so it was a good play to end the inning. And for the Reds, they get nothing. No runs, no hits, no errors. They did leave 1 on base. And we go to the 9th inning. Giants in command, 5-0 over the Reds. We'll need a new pitcher for the Reds as they pinch hit for Hall. So a new pitcher will be coming on for Cincinnati, probably in a mop-up role. Willoughby is scheduled to bat second this inning, but what the heck, he's 2 for 3, and he really has only 1 ding against his fatigue. That was a hit by pitch. So they're going to leave him in there to try to finish this game and try to get a shutout if they can, I guess. So we're looking at the bullpen for the Reds. And they're going to go with right-hander Ed Sprague. So Ed Sprague is on in kind of a mop-up role. He's got a +6 hold, with the -4 from bench makes him now a +2. But with a 5-0 score, I don't think the hold rating really is going to come into play all that well. And so history may repeat itself with the Giants winning this game, even though it looked like it certainly was in favor of the Reds statistically. So leading off will be Dave Rader. Rader is 0 for 3. 3-5 for Rader. 1 to 8's a double. That's an 11, though. It's a fly to left. And that is hauled in out there by the left fielder, Mr. Rose. So 1 down. And that's going to bring up Willoughby. Willoughby is the batter. He is 2 for 3, both off Billingham. Home run and a single that were off Billingham. 4-9 off of Sprague is a fly to center, and that's out number 2. So Willoughby will be going for the complete game in the bottom of the 9th. Bobby Bonds steps up. Bonds doubled and scored his last time up. He's 1 for 4. 2-5, and that's a strikeout. So Ed Sprague pitches a 1-2-3 ninth inning. 3 up, 3 down for Sprague as he keeps the score where it is, but it's the last call for the Cincinnati Reds. They trail it 5-0, and the star of the game, Jim Willoughby, is out looking to finish what he started. Now, just in case Willoughby should falter, the Giants do have bullpen activity. They've got their closer, Elias Sosa, warming up in the bullpen just in case. But he's only light tossing because they have pretty good confidence that Mr. Willoughby will get it done. He's going to be facing Tolan, Bench, and Perez for the Reds here in this bottom of the 9th. One last focus check. I think we'll be all right. All right, here we go. Last chance for the Reds to get something on the board. Willoughby, 4-5, and that is a strikeout. He is not tired. There's a dot there, but he's not tired. So the strikeout is good. 1 down. Here's Bench. 2-8 for Bench. That's another strikeout. So Willoughby looking to finish in style. 1 out away from a shutout here on the opening game of the NBC Game of the Week 1973. It would be an upset. Giants over the Reds is the way it's looking. Here's Perez. That's a 5-5, and that's a ground ball to third. Picked up by Goodson. Throws to McCovey, and there's your ball game. And the player of the game, Jim Willoughby. He does it. Pitches a shutout and also goes 2 for 3 with a home run and a run scored. 2 runs scored, actually. And this one definitely does not belong to the Reds as the Giants shut them out 5-0. Giants won the real game 7-5, but offense nowhere near that level in this one. So we'll be back after this pause with the totals and getting you ready for next week's game. All right, we are back. You could say that Jim Willoughby showed up today with some stratitude and took care of the Reds 5-0. Single-handedly taking care of the Reds by himself. Complete game, 4-hit shutout, as well as hitting a home run and scoring 2 runs with a single and a home run. So totals on the ball game. For the Giants, 5 runs, 9 hits, 1 error, and 5 left. For the Reds, no runs, 4 hits, no errors, and 6 left. Winning pitcher was Willoughby. Losing pitcher was Jack Billingham, although he deserved a much better fate than what he got. But when you don't get any runs scored in your behalf, it's kind of hard to win. Next week, hopefully we'll be back to a live stream next week. We'll be at Yankee Stadium, actually old Yankee Stadium, before it was refurbished. And it'll be the Boston Red Sox taking on those New York Yankees. Pitching matchup in that game, as I look at my score sheet, it is Louis Tiant against Fritz Peterson. That is the scheduled pitching matchup for next week. Boston at the Yankees. So the Giants take it to the Reds here at Riverfront and the patrons go away not very happy, as this one definitely does not belong to the Reds. So until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.